Unit testing or whitebox testing is a good way to enforce quality checks early on during product development phase and also helps in collaboration between the team members. I am Kumar and welcome to my channel on tech and tutorials. Unit test will test a small component of the application, for example a method or a small testable part of any software. In this video session, let's learn about basics of unit testing in Python. We will be using Unittest Framework, which comes as a default Python standard installation library. We will be using Python 3.6 version, but you can also use any upper than 3.6 version in your system. Pycharm as the IDE for our tutorial. So please go ahead and install them in your system if you don't have it. So for this particular session, we will be getting started with the following topics in the screen. You see, we will be going through the test packages organized. We'll see how to organize the test packages and the test files in the main program, and then we'll see the rules for unit test, the framework unit test. We'll be seeing how to import the unit test, subclassing, and then naming the test, and then the assert rules that needs to be done for the unit test framework, and then finally the call method which should be done for the unit test module. We'll write test for the simple calculator app which I already have in my project in here, and we will see how to run it from Pycharm, and then Pycharm terminal down here, terminal, and then we'll see how to generate one HTML report, see how we can view the report in Pycharm. For this tutorial we will be working with the simple calculator app, which is here. If you can see in my screen, this is basically a simple calculator which will sum, multiply, division and subtraction here. So if I run this app, run simple calculator, and I try to do one example here, 4 plus 6, and then it will output me what you want to do. So if I enter choices 1 here, and should give me the result. If you see the result in here, see the result, it gives me 10 here, 10 for the 4 plus 6. So, and then the option is there to do it again or no. So I'll do an exit here for now. So it's a very simple app on which we'll try to write some tests. So first of all, let's see how to put our test. There are no rules, specific rules, but usually what people do is they create a folder here, go to new, right click on the project, go to new, and then create a Python package and name it as calculator test, and okay. So this creates a folder here in parallel with the main folder where we have our application here, and in this folder we will start to add our test files. And then once we have our calculator test folder created, I right click on it, and then we start to write Python file here, and Python unit test file I'll select. And again, the Python file name itself does not have any naming convention, but just name it as test simple calculate, name it as simple, and just do an OK. And here if I select that option of unit test, it automatically puts in all the import here. This is required, and then the class file, and then the run here, which automatically gets created. I'll just keep it same with the file name, which is basically the convention used in Java and all. Try to follow the same thing so that it's easy to identify. So class test simple calc, and then this is subclassing the, if you see here, whatever I have mentioned, subclassing unittest.TestCase. So let us go through the Unittest Framework documentation here. I'll put down the link in the description. This is the URL here. So if you can go through this link and see all the rules and options, and it's kind of tutorial you can go through once for starting to write test case, and whenever you are stuck up, you can just come back here and refer to this link in here. So The test case, this is some of the rules. Test case is created by subclassing this unittest.TestCase, which I have done in my case here, unittest.TestCase subclassing. In will define with the method whose name start with the letter test. So all my methods for each test case should be starting with test. So they have created a sample for me, test underscore. So I would be renaming this, and then the crux of each test is to call an assert equal. You should not be using the assert which comes with Python, rather you should be using the assert equals which comes with the test case API here. If you come here, assert equals, this is part of the test case class, not from the Python. So I'll show you that. So okay, let me show you that first. So assert equal, you can see the class in here. Let me make this big. You can see that class test case. So this is from the class test case, not from the Python assert. And then the setup and teardown, we'll see that in another video. And then the final block provides a command line interface in here. So this is basically some description about what all you can do with this Unittest framework. You can do test fixtures, test cases, test suite, test runner. Test suite is basically collection of tests. Test case is like individual test. So coming back to our test here, so let me do some simple add. And so first we need to import this simple calculator class in our test class. So let me do one thing. Let me copy the code and just paste it here. With this command, I am calling the class from this folder from calculator.simplecalculator, import calculator, and then we have to add some test. So before adding the test, I have to call this method here. So let me just add it actually, self.cal equals to calculator. I need to pass in some arguments because the init method takes in some arguments in here, a and b here. So I'll just put 4 and 5, and then what I need to do is 4 plus 5 is 9, and self.cal.add. Okay, so I'm just done with adding a test in here. So let me try to run this, run unit test, and looks like it's passed here. You can see here it's green here in here, which it's all green here. That means it's passed. So let me do one thing. Let me add another test underscore simple subtract. Sorry, and I need to call this again here, and self.assert equals, and 4 minus 5, which is not going to give me a negative number. Let me add something like 8, so it's 3, and dot cal dot subtract. So let's see how it works. You can do a run from here, and so this did not run. Okay, two tests, both the tests have passed. In my case, test simple add and test simple sub in here. So both my tests have passed in here, so this is good. So I have added using assert true. I've used naming the test. So I've shown you we should name the test with test underscore test something. The actually name should start with test. After that, whatever you write doesn't matter here. And then write test, we have added We have seen how to run the test using right click, and we can also see how to run the test from the command config in here. So what you can do is you can come here and edit configuration, and this is basically same thing as running right hand side, but it has an option of providing some additional arguments as well in from here. So if I do a run from here, which actually does the same thing here, I prefer running it from here. Right click on this file and run unit test, this option here, run unit test. And then let's see how to run from terminal. So this is, you have to go to the terminal in here. You can do this from, actually you can do this from the command prompt also, Windows command prompt, but usually people will be using the same window in here, so they just go down in the terminal and then you can type in the full command to run this test. So how to run this test is actually documented in here, python -m unittest test module test folder. You can do, I'll show you how to do that. So right now I am in the folder of demo unit test here, Python workspace demo unit test, and I type, sorry, okay, so I did a Python in here. So this is how you write python -m unit test. You can actually give the folder name, in our case it is calculator test, and then you can give the file name test simple dot. So this is the full command. I am in the main folder demo unit test, and then I type this python -m unit test calculator test /sim test, the file name calculator. Then I run this, and you see here that it shows me ran 2 tests and it's passed. So actually what you can do is you can do the verbose mode -v here. I've just added the -v option here, -v, and if I run it, it shows me the test here. Which test exactly, the name of the test, it shows me here. You can see it here, test underscore simple app, test underscore simple sub, and both of them got passed in my case here. So yeah, you can run it from right click here and run it, or you can actually run it from here. And let me do one thing, let me add one fail test case, test simple sub fail. So I will just put something which should fail here, and I come back to the terminal and I do the same thing. So ran 3 tests, failures 1 here. You see here it gives us with all the information here, which one failed and which one is okay and all these things. So coming back to our topics, we have seen how to run from terminal, right click and config, and then let's see one option of seeing the results. So if you come to the run option in here in Pycharm, the run option which is down below, if I click here, you'll see that it shows up here which one got failed, but this option is only available if you run it from right click and run test. It shows up in here. So the green ones means it's passed, and the orange one means it got failed. There are multiple options here. You can see here this one shows me all the passed ones, and this brown one shows me only the failed ones. Also there is an option of exporting this, export test results, and you can actually, this will import it to the desktop here. So I do an export and I go to my desktop here, and this is what I get, and I open it in my browser Chrome, and actually this gives the same, although you can see it properly, view it properly from the browser. If you want to share with the colleagues and all, you can actually share it. So it doesn't give information about the past ones, but it gives more information with all the stack trace and all, where and what it failed. SR equals 6 here is the session error 6 is not equals to 3 here. So it gives me all the proper information. So this you can actually share it with your colleagues and all whenever you run some test here. So I think I've covered all the things in here, whatever we have discussed. The other option is we can also run the test using Python and using the simple file name. Here you can just provide the test simple, but for that you need to do some modifications. The first thing is you need to add one. So Python has this problem of importing modules and all. So I need to import sys, and I need to import sys, and then I need to put the path with up above this folder here. And then let me try to go inside this folder and see Python, and then the file name here. It shows me the same output here, so it shows me it's fail. So but the best thing is using the Python -m unittest -v unittest -v, and then the folder name and then the test name. There are other options like discover and all, we will see later in another video. You can actually just provide the folder name. You don't need to provide the folder name even. You can just run this command and then you can actually, it will automatically take all the tests and run it. For example, let's try this option, Python -m unittest -v, and let's see if it does a discover or not, and run 7 tests. So maybe some other location is having other files. In my scratch folder I might be having some test in here, so that's why it's showing 7 tests in here. So that's all in this video. Thank you so much.